Opening, smarter, not harder. Have you ever spent hours buried in textbooks, reviewing notes, and cramming for exams, only to realize that most of it disappears from your memory by the next day? It's frustrating, isn't it? You work hard, put in the effort, but when it comes time to recall, the material just doesn't stick. Now, here's the bold part. What if I told you there's a way to study less, but actually retain more? Yes, less time, less stress, but better results. It sounds almost too good to be true, but it's backed by science. By the end of this video, you'll discover a method that maximizes learning while minimizing wasted time, a strategy used by top students and professionals to remember more in less time. No gimmicks, no hacks, just smart, effective, science-backed techniques that change the way your brain learns. Stay with me because this could completely transform the way you study and retain information. Why most studying fails. Let's be honest, most studying just doesn't work. Many students fall into the trap of passive rereading or highlighting. You go over your notes multiple times, maybe underline every key sentence thinking it'll stick. But when exam day comes, you realize you barely remember a thing. Then there are those marathon study sessions, hours at a time with no breaks. Sure, it feels productive, but your brain is overloaded and long-term retention drops dramatically. Another common mistake? Memorizing without understanding. Repetition alone doesn't build real knowledge. You might feel familiar with the material, but that's just the illusion of learning. You think you know it, but deep down, you really don't. Here's a quick example. Imagine a student who spends 4 straight hours cramming for a math test. They highlight, rewrite notes, and even quiz themselves lightly. Yet, on test day, blank mind, forgotten formulas. All that time felt productive, but the retention was minimal. The truth is, studying hard isn't enough. You need methods that actively engage your brain, strengthen memory pathways, and ensure what you learn actually sticks. In the next section, we'll explore the science behind effective learning, how the brain truly retains information, and the techniques that maximize memory. The science of learning more in less time. Now that we understand why traditional studying often fails, let's explore how to learn more effectively in less time, using principles grounded in cognitive science. 1. Active recall. Instead of passively rereading your notes, test yourself. Close the book and try to write down or explain everything you remember. Each time you retrieve information, you strengthen the neural pathways, making it much easier to recall later. 2. Spaced repetition. Next is spaced repetition. Review material at carefully timed intervals. For example, 1 day later, 3 days later, a week later, and so on. Spacing out learning prevents forgetting and locks knowledge into long-term memory, instead of cramming everything at once and losing it by the next day. 3. Interleaving. Then there's interleaving, mixing different topics or skills instead of focusing on just one. For example, instead of doing 50 similar math problems in a row, alternate between algebra, geometry, and word problems. This improves problem-solving ability and helps your brain see patterns across different types of information. 4. Elaboration and connection. Finally, consider elaboration, connecting new information to what you already know. The more you link ideas, the easier they are to recall and apply. Analogies, examples, and stories make abstract concepts stick in your mind. Cognitive science shows that our brains learn best in short, focused, repeated bursts, rather than endless marathon sessions. By combining active recall, spaced repetition, interleaving, and connection, you'll see your learning efficiency skyrocket. In the next section, we'll break down a step-by-step routine that puts all of these principles into action, so you can study smarter, not longer. The Smart Study Routine, step by step. Now that we understand the science behind learning efficiently, let's put it into action with a step-by-step routine you can use every day. 1. Set clear micro goals, 5 min. Start by defining exactly what you want to achieve in this session. Avoid vague objectives like study history or review math. Instead, set specific bite-sized goals. Explain the causes of World War I in my own words. Solve 5 algebra word problems using quadratic formulas. Clear goals give your brain a target, increasing focus and motivation right from the start. 2. Active learning session, 30 to 40% of session. Next, dive into active learning. Don't just read or highlight, quiz yourself, summarize from memory, or teach the concept aloud. Actively engaging with the material strengthens memory pathways and builds deep understanding. Remember, it's about comprehension, not rote memorization. Spaced review and scheduling, 30 to 40% of session. After your initial study, implement spaced review. Revisit material from yesterday, last week, and even last month. Use apps like Anki or Quizlet, or maintain a notebook system to track what you've learned and when to review it. Systematic spacing locks knowledge into long-term memory, preventing forgetting after just a few days. 4. Interleaving in practice, 20 to 30% of session. Now, introduce interleaving. Instead of doing 30 similar problems in a row, alternate between topics or problem types, such as math, physics, and logic questions. Interleaving enhances problem-solving skills, encourages adaptability, and strengthens connections across different areas of knowledge. 5. Reflection and planning, 5 to 10 minutes. Finally, end your session with reflection and planning. Summarize key takeaways, note insights or tricky areas. Plan what to focus on next. Even a few minutes of reflection helps consolidate learning and keeps your study momentum going. By following this structured, science-backed routine, you'll study smarter, retain more information, and make every session count. Next, we'll explore bonus techniques to give your memory and focus an extra boost, making this routine even more powerful. Extra tips to boost learning efficiency. Now that you have a solid routine, let's take it to the next level with extra tips that can dramatically enhance your learning efficiency. 1. Teach to learn. One of the most powerful ways to solidify knowledge is to teach it. Even if you don't have a student, explain the concept out loud to yourself or an imaginary audience. This forces your brain to organize, clarify, and retrieve information, making it stick far better than passive review. Number 2, dual coding. Combine visuals with text. Turn your notes into diagrams, charts, or mind maps and pair them with keywords or summaries. This method, called dual coding, allows your brain to store information in multiple ways, improving both recall and understanding. 3. Focus and environment. Your environment plays a huge role in learning. Eliminate distractions, put your phone out of reach, close unnecessary tabs, and maintain a clean, clutter-free workspace. Even small adjustments can dramatically enhance concentration and retention. 4. Micro habits. Small, consistent study sessions often outperform long, infrequent marathons. Even 15 to 20 minutes of focused daily study can compound into mastery over time. Consistency beats intensity when it comes to long-term learning. 5. Sleep and exercise. Never underestimate the impact of sleep and physical activity. Sleep consolidates memories, and even light exercise boosts brain function, making study sessions more effective. A well-rested, energized brain learns faster and remembers better. By combining these extra tips with your structured routine, you'll maximize retention, focus, and understanding, turning every study session into a powerful learning opportunity. Next, we'll explore the mindset and lifestyle habits that keep all these strategies working consistently over the long term. Mindset for lifelong, efficient learning. Learning isn't about talent. It's a skill, and like any skill, it improves with practice. The key is to focus on quality over quantity. Small, consistent, deliberate efforts, whether it's 15 to 20 minutes of focused study or regularly reviewing key concepts, compound over time. It's not about cramming for hours, it's about making every minute count. And don't forget to celebrate your progress. Even a short, fully focused session is a win, and every win-win builds momentum, gradually turning you into a lifelong learner who retains knowledge effortlessly. The real magic happens when you adopt this mindset, seeing every study session as a step toward mastery, not just a task to finish. Next, we'll wrap up with a closing recap and actionable challenge so you can start applying everything you've learned immediately. Closing call to action. Let's recap. By studying SMART, using active recall, spaced repetition, interleaving, and reflection, you're not just spending time on learning, you're learning more in less time, and what you learn actually sticks. Here's your challenge. Pick one subject this week and apply this method. Pay attention to how much faster, deeper, and more confidently you retain information. Now, I want to hear from you. Comment below, which step will you implement first? Subscribe for more strategies on learning, focus, and personal growth. And don't forget to share this with a friend who struggles to retain information. They'll thank you later. Remember, Learning smarter isn't just about exams, it's about building a mind that keeps growing every single day.